What's going on, guys? Welcome back to LOI Fan TV. I hope you're all keeping very, very well indeed. In today's video, a little something different. We're going to be making our combining or creating even our underrated 11 of League of Ireland Premier Division players. So I'll be doing my own team. Luke will be doing his own team as well. Um, and we'll see. Let us know in the comments whose team you prefer, or whose team is more kind of right in the underrated kind of category. Obviously, kind of a tricky one to do because you're trying to find players that you like but are kind of under the radar a little bit. So it's kind of hard to find a little bit. But yeah, Luke, how did you find putting your team together?
A lot of hatred in me. That's one thing I found out. Like a lot of players, like, I've a chip in my shoulder, but it's very hard to like when you're looking at your own team. You're like, "Jeez, who do I really like rate here that
Yeah,
other people don't rate?" You know what I mean?
yeah.
Oh, stop.
A lot of Rovers players in here. No Rovers players are no other Rovers players are
It's
underrated
not. I
anyway.
can't pick any Rower players because I'm on like a handful of leagues. Like, come on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can't pick Liam Pauls in that's like
Oh, stop. No one rates him.
what formation did you kind of go for? Is it kind of a little bit messier?
I'm
What
like
did you?
a loose 4-3-3. Like,
Yeah, same, same.
yeah.
I'm the same. So, we'll start off with our goalkeepers. Do you want to kick us off? Who did you go for?
I went for sure has got the Bows goalie. I think that
Yeah,
like obviously everyone's talking all the time about Connor Kearns and Ed McGinty and Brian Maher. Like he's been unbelievable. He's kept James Talbot out of the Bows team, who's
yeah.
arguably was the best goalie in the league like a year, 2 years ago was in Ireland camp. So yeah, I think it's a no-brainer from my end. Anyway, who do you pick?
He was definitely someone I did consider now, to be
Oh,
fair,
don't you
but
dare say
I
Connor Kearns.
have gone for
Oh
Connor
my
Kearns. Now,
God.
hear me out here. Hear me out here. It's because it's because you listen to me. It's because you listen to me, and I obviously sing his praises. But in terms of the mainstream media, in terms of the fans' appreciation across the league, I think people don't rate him as the best goalkeeper in the league. I think they have him third or fourth, and he is without a doubt the best goalkeeper in the league for me. Clean sheet record, everything. The last couple of years, he's been phenomenal for Shelby the last 2, 3 seasons, whatever it is. And for me, he goes under the radar in terms of how good he is, distribution, everything. I think he's the most consistent out of the keepers. McGinty, I think, had a mistake against for UCD. Obviously, he's rated highly. You couldn't really go for him. I think people say Maher's better than him as well, and that's not the case for me at all. So yeah, for me, I definitely do consider your shout, to be fair, but yeah, for me, Connor Kearns.
Next, who's the next Shells player? Sean Gannon.
Right back,
15
Sean Gannon.
leagues.
No.
He's underrated. He's under the radar.
Right back. Who did you say right back?
I went Dara Power off Waterford.
Yeah.
I just think he's a baller. Like anytime I watch him play, he brings so much life to that Waterford right hand side. Not just defensively, but attacking, his
Yeah.
pace, power. Excuse the pun. And like he's just
Yeah.
like some deadly assists this season. So yeah, I think he'll get a move in the off season as well. So that's why I went. Who do
Yeah.
you think?
Yeah. See him going to the Rovers potentially if they want to push Honan back into the back three or whatever and put Power right wing back or something. It could be a good
Yeah,
move.
yeah. Well, yeah, I could see that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely consider Power. I think he's fantastic, but I didn't go from just because we had him in our kind of halfway point team of the season. I think maybe he's getting enough flowers, kind of thing, and maybe he's getting that rating he deserves, possibly. But maybe he's still going under the radar a touch. I've gone for J.R. Wilson. I think he's actually gone under the radar at Sligo this season in terms of he's been a really
Good show.
consistent performer and Sligo's upturn in
Yeah.
form as well. I think obviously Shell's going to let him go. Bring in Sean Gannon, which is of course an improvement and an upgrade. And you want to let JR kind of play first team football a lot as well, which he deserves to do. And he's with Shales in the first division, come up, he's kind of a bit of a club legend as well. So and for me he's been really, really solid for Sligo this season. He's kind of not talked about much, but in terms of his performances, I think he's always a kind of a solid 6, 7 out of 10 kind of thing. You know what you're gonna get out of him.
Yeah, no, it's a great show. I didn't even consider him in my thoughts, but yeah, no, he's up there for sure, isn't he? Like
Yeah,
he does a job, and like it was even harsh for Shells to let him go because you brought so much life to Shells when he played for him too. So yeah, that's a good show.
yeah, nice one. Left back, who are you saying?
Oh, see, I couldn't really kind of
This is
pinpoint a
tough.
left back
This is
here,
tough.
and I kind of made a utility one because he's played there in Europe. So like Josh Honahan's been playing left wing back for us, and I just think I picked him there. I just think they coming
Yeah.
from Cork. I remember we signed him. Everyone was like, "His fella is playing the heart of Cork's leakiest defense in the league." Like, and he's been quality. Like, it's just as I said, he's a centre half by trade. He's played left back, right
Yeah,
back, and he's just. I think he'll go on to kind of have like a Liam Scales esque kind of career. Like
yeah,
he'll get a
yeah.
move, and he could be. He's one of these players that as he'll go up the levels, I think he'll adapt perfectly. So yeah, I think Josh Honahan, and as I said, because of Rovers' kind of poor season, I don't think he's gotten the flowers that necessarily might go in other years. So yeah, I'm gonna say Josh Honahan.
Yeah, no, great show, great show. I think he's a fantastic player, and he definitely goes under the radar in terms of his ability, and I think he actually has kind of literally the whole package kind of thing. Every time I've watched him, there's the fact he can play wing back as well when he's naturally centre half. It just screams everything you need to know about him. He's a good footballer, and yeah, he's looked fantastic, and he's in terms of like Pico getting on a bit, Grace getting on a bit, or like Grace kind of late 20s, isn't he? But Sean Hoare maybe kind of want to maybe look to move on. Honahan coming in is perfect for kind of developing the squad and stuff like that, and the perfect signing for Rovers and the type of signings they need to be making the next window. You feel those kind of younger players coming in, and yeah, great shout. I went at left back. I went for you might give out me Cameron Ledwidge. I still think he's a little bit under the radar, a tiny bit. Obviously, he's moved kind of into that central defensive role since Gavin Malloy's left, but he's kind of gone back out there now with I think Wilson was suspended and stuff, and Shane Griffin was playing in centre half and Sam Bone and stuff. And I think Ledwidge has been fantastic this season, and I think he's gone a little bit under the radar for Shales in terms of how important he is, and if he can, especially if he can kind of guide us to a title in Malloy's absence, I think it'd definitely probably get his flowers then. But I think Ledwidge has been fantastic. I think he's earned a new contract for next season already. I think he's kicked on so much under Duff really as well. Yeah, I think Leverage has been fantastic this year and gone under the radar a touch.
Yeah, he's one of my picks for centre off. So I
Is he?
agree with you
Yeah,
there. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So like as you said, like he's kind of left back by trade, kind of playing centre half, and like he doesn't look out of place at all. And another one of those players, kind of under the Honan umbrella of you can see him getting a move to England eventually, and kind of that diversity really does stand to you. So yeah, I really do rate him also.
yeah, yeah. That's yeah. Left back was tricky, so I was kind of trying to put someone out there. I actually Honahan was one of my centre halves actually, funny enough as well. So that's people went for Ledwidge and Honahan
Mm.
as one of our centre halves, or sorry, one of our defenders even. Um, Partnering Ledwidge as centre half. Who did you go for?
I'll ask you first because I'm not 100% sure as to my choice. If you have a better suggestion, I might jump on yours.
I went with Dara Leahy just because I think he's been good this season for Waterford. I think he's good on the ball out from the back, nice left-footed defender. I think he's been their captain this season, if not mistaken as well. I think at Bowes he was really good. And I just think yeah, I just think he's lovely left foot on him. I think he's been gone under the radar this season a little bit. I'm not sure if he's fully a centre half. Maybe the back three suits him in that system. Obviously, you kind of have Kasper Rajowski there as well. He's possibly a shout for this as well. One of the Waterford defenders is probably an option here, or maybe one of the Sligo lads or something. But I just went for Leahy just because I think he's kind of one of the more underappreciated ones in that position.
Yeah, fair. My one, I'm gonna stick by it. I went. This is a mad show, but I went with Sean Hoare, and it's a mad one, right?
I
But
think he's crap. I think
and
he's crap.
if you would have asked me like a few months ago, I would have been like, oh, he's just crap. Like, but
Yeah,
watching him in Europe and kind of like reflecting on him even before he came to us, while he was like at Dundalk, like
yeah,
honest, like he has bags of ability, and like he didn't start for us at the start of the season, and now like I'm like you can't take him out of the team. He's so
yeah,
reliable. He's like Dan Cleary, but with like Dan Clear has a mistake, and he doesn't really have those in possession mistakes, and he's very solid in the air. Like even watching him against like Sparta Prague and how he holds his own, like yeah, I think that I've underrated him at times as well. So that's just kind of why I put him in, and I think on his day, like he's one of the best defenders in the league, and he doesn't maybe get that credit that he deserves.
yeah, yeah. No, Joe, the fact I said that he's crap straight away, even though he's not really crap. Like, the fact I said that straight away is actually why he's actually a good show for this. He's won league
Yeah.
titles and stuff like that. Yeah, no, I do think that's actually a good show. In terms of that Rovers defense, he's probably the one you talk about least, isn't he, really?
100%. Like as I said, like you've Grace, you've Lopez, you've Cleary, and he's kind of fought his way into that back three,
Mm.
and he's been solid anytime I've seen him this season. And Rovers fans have given him stick, and rightfully so at times. But like when he kind of look at his recent form in his career, you're like, you know what? Like he's kind of it's maybe a bit undeserved at times.
Yeah, no, yeah, good show. That's actually it's a clever show. I remember we interviewed Dara O'Connor on the channel. He's previous former Cork City winger. I think he's over in Scotland now. I remember asking him who was the toughest opponent he played against, and he said Sean Hoare because he's so like aggressive and he's always like kicking you and doing bits. And he's just so aggressive and tackling and stuff. And he said he's the hardest player he's played against, which is a fun fact on Sean Hoare.
Interesting, yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
could see that, yeah.
yeah, little aggressive side to him. Um, Moving into midfield, to be like a midfield three, or is it more of a kind of a 4-2-3-1, or is it kind of
Yeah,
a three?
whichever, like
Yeah.
you can paint it any way you want. Who did you go for?
I went with my first one was JJ Lunny. I think maybe Mark Coyle kind of takes the spotlight a little bit in the middle of the park a lot for Shells. I think JJ Lunny has really stepped it on a lot this season. He's really kind of entered maybe the prime of his career, 26 now, coming into 26 now. I think he's really stepped it up a lot. And yeah, I think he's kind of become like a hugely important player for Duff and Shells in the way they play and distributing the ball and just that consistent performance in the middle of the park that they need. So, in terms of having their title challenge this season, he's been a huge part of that. And yeah, he was the first player I went for. Alongside him in midfield, I went with Ellis Chapman at Sligo. I think maybe that's a bad shit because he's probably rated fairly now, but I think I still think he goes under the radar in terms of I think he has 8 goals this season, a couple of assists as well. I think he just seems to be involved in everything that Sligo do. Whenever you watch the highlights for Sligo, he has a long range strike in him, or he's involved in the goals in some degree. I think he's been fantastic and a really good pickup for them. Then finally, the last player in midfield, I did play around with it a little bit. Um, and I just went with kind of in the 10 position. Maybe he's unrated, he's rated fairly as well, but I went with Brandon Kavanagh just in terms of maybe Mulroney, maybe Forrester, maybe kind of take the shine off him a little bit. But I think he's been probably Pat's best player this season. In the forward sense anyway, I think he's in terms of goals and assists, contributions, he's definitely been up there. Um, and I think he's a wonderful little player. I think actually the Pats mightn't suit him the best. I think he might flourish better somewhere else. I know he was at Rovers, he was at Derry, he was at Pats now. I think he just needs to find the right kind of environment for himself to thrive in. I think Pats the way they have so many players similar to him and Mulroney and who's the other left-footed winger they have? Someone else as well. I can't
Shane
top of my head.
McClelland.
McClelland, yeah, there's a couple, there's a lot of like players that they have in that similar position. I think it doesn't. I think he could go somewhere else, be the kind of star of the team, even like a Shells, he'd be the star of the team. Um, yeah, I think he's a fantastic player. So that's the three I've gone for: Lunny, Ellis Chapman, and Brandon Kavanagh.
That's a
Kavanagh
great
kind of
shout
the
with
10.
Brandon Cavanagh because I don't know who I was listening to. Some League of Ireland pundit was saying anyway, it's like, oh, you're never going to win a league with Brandon Cavanagh in your team. Like, you need better players, and like that's a prime example. You actually look at his
Yeah,
stats, and like he has like 8 assists this season or something like
eight
that. Like,
assists or
so,
something. Yeah,
yeah, so fair play to him. Yeah, no, I kind of went similar to yourself. I actually kind of switched it up as you were talking. I initially had I initially had Diallo off Derry in there. And like I haven't seen enough of him to put him in there, to be honest. But whenever I
yeah,
just kind of seen him play, like when Rowers are playing him, I just think like it's a big lump of a fella, and he has a pass to him as well. I just thought like he's just a bit of a nightmare to play against. I had him in there, but like then
yeah,
maybe Derek fans will say he's crap. So like I actually do agree with you on the JJ Looney show. I've seen a good bit more of JJ Looney, and I think he's been rock solid. Like, and he's kind of one of these players that hasn't really been thrown out of a team. That he's been in like everywhere. He's well regarded, and he's
yeah,
had a few kind of sideways moves in his career, and Shell's obviously a good fit for him now. So yeah, I'll go with JJ Looney, Ellis Chapman as well. I have him in there. And as you said, like been really good this season. So maybe he isn't underrated, but I definitely agree with you on that one. Like he's been some match winning goals from kind of a defensive midfielder. Like his goal contributions are very good. And then I went for
yeah,
a bit of a rogue one because it was my third. And I don't know, like it's a raw one, but I saw him play against us, and like I was bits and bobs of seeing him. I'm really impressed with him. I'm surprised he left the club which he was at to go to Dundalk. Jad Hakiki, I think he's a baller.
yeah,
I think he's a really good player.
yeah. No, he
And
is.
maybe he doesn't have the goal contributions to back that up yet. But like when I watched Dundalk play Rovers there a few weeks ago, and he was running the game like any pace, power, uh, yeah, just like skill, like just yeah, has all the raw materials to be a really good player. And I think I think he'll go on to have a really good career.
No, without a doubt. I think that's where Duff is good in terms of making the decisions by taking emotion out of them. Like, I think a lot of Shells fans were kind of like upset to see him go, upset to see Farrell go. Then you have to make space in the squad for your Woods and for your Coots and players like that. And probably right now they're an upgrade, but I think Kiki's only 2021. I think he could really kick on and become a top player in the Premier Division level. And as you say, the fact that Shells did make way with him, yeah, he's definitely an underrated talent and a fantastic shout for his team. Yeah, and I think he's a player that could definitely go, whether it's to the top of the league around or maybe go abroad at some stage or something. But he's always someone that I thought would be a Shells starter next season. So what was upsetting to see him go, but it's one where Duff is good at making those decisions. You have to trust him in them, and it is the best thing for the player as well to be playing first team football week in week out as well. Great pickup for Dundalk.
Defo, no, defo, and he'll flourish eventually. Whether that's if Dundalk stay up or not, I think he'll stay there for next season, and I think that'll do him the world of good. And I think he'll get a bigger move off the back of that.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. In terms of my wingers, then the two wingers I went for the first one was Will Fitzgerald of Sligo. Now he's never someone that kind of pulls up trees in terms of stats. I think he has 2 goals and 2 assists this season, so hasn't blown anyone away. But whenever I've watched him, I just think he's a very consistent player. Always a bit of a handful for the fullback. Someone that can improve as well. I think I was looking there. I think he's only 23. I think. I think he's still maybe 25, but I think he's someone that can still improve. He's up in Finn Harps. He's been obviously with Sligo now. I think was he with Galway before maybe as well. But yeah, it's someone that I think definitely in terms of players mentioned as a kind of wide players in the league, definitely someone that doesn't get mentioned much at all. And I think he's a good player. Every time I've watched him, I haven't watched a whole lot of him now, but whenever I do watch him, I think he always puts in a good performance, and I do rate him. As I said, 2 goals, 2 assists, hasn't blown anyone away, but a decent winger and someone that kind of does a shift every week. And yeah, obviously been a part of Sligo's good season so far as well. So he was my first one. Then my second one was Liam Burt, just off the back of kind of knocking in at Rovers last season. Rovers feeling confident enough to loan him 2 Shells. And obviously now has had a good season with Shells and has really kicked on again. Obviously was decent at Bows to get earn that Rovers move. And I think kind of maybe the end product lacks at times a little bit, bits and pieces like that. But I think in terms of winning free kicks and winning fouls and playing the way Duff likes to on the break with that pace he has, I think he's a hugely important player for Shells and not doesn't isn't blessed in terms of getting goals and assists as well, similar to Fitzgerald. But I think, yeah, really good player, good dribbler of the ball, can cause teams problems. Don't think any fullback in the league likes playing against Liam Bird either. So yeah, I think just off the back of Rovers getting rid of him, not really getting a chance there last season, and then kicking on again with Shells this year, and obviously was kind of in Jarvis's shadow probably for a lot of the year as well. So I did go for Liam Bird. That's my
Yeah, the
other
one thing
winger.
I'll say about Liam Burt is that I don't think, well, for amongst Rovers fans anyway, I don't think his ability is underrated. I think it's more it's just his consistency levels. Like we saw games last season when he literally played against Cork, got man the match, ran the game. He was a terror to defend against, and like yeah, as I said, I don't watch Shells every week, so I can't comment on his consistency levels. But it'd be interesting to
Mm.
hear what you have to say about that. Like,
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair comment from last year. And I think maybe did he have an injury or two last season, maybe as
yeah, he had a
well.
few nickels. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then maybe when you're not starting as many games as you like, maybe finding consistency and finding that bit of form is that little bit harder as well. In such a competitive setup, and you're competing with top quality players as well to get into the side. And I don't think he was fully suited to the way Bradley wanted to play either. Maybe probably prefers like kind of the more ball specialists like your Burns and stuff like that as well. So yeah, I think he's definitely more suited to the way Shell's play currently, and definitely been more consistent. I think this season he's definitely put hasn't had too many bad games or anything, and he's put in kind of good performances throughout the year. To be fair to him.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. No, he's done well. And as I said, he's good at balls too. So like he's a good player. Maybe the last year has lowered his stock a bit, and but yeah, definitely he fits in here alright.
Yeah, yeah. Who'd you go for out wide?
See, I kind of did something different here. Like I couldn't really think of many wingers, so I kind of went with three kind of strikers. So you can kind of you can piece them up whichever way you
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
want. First and foremost, my first one was James Akintunde. I just think like one of
That's
these
going to be
players.
controversial, I reckon, because I'd see that maybe that's right because I've seen
Yeah.
Bows fans give him dogs abuse last couple of weeks.
Yeah, like I see him get dogs beat, but like anytime I see him come on, I'm like, oh, here we go. Like it's a handful. Um, like he would for Derry he score goals, for Bowes he scores goals. I genuinely think if he was to tear up his Bowes contract in the morning, most of the league would want him because like he works hard. He plays multiple positions and like he scores goals. So like like kind of you look at Bo's team and like they've lots of ballers like and none of them are performing. So it's kind
Yeah,
of a bit harsh. You're gonna pin it all on Mac and Sunday, but like
yeah,
yeah, I think he's in here for this very reason. I think like if you sign him in the off season for Shells, I think he'd be someone that would do unbelievable under Damien Duff. Like he's just a Damien Duff player in my opinion, and I
yeah,
think like he doesn't get the credit he deserves. In my opinion. So yeah, no, that was my first one, and then I don't know how I'm gonna pin up the second one because they're both kind of strikers. But anyway, the first one I went Stephen Walsh off Galway. Now I don't know if he's rated or not rated, like kind of maybe amongst Dublin media, he isn't as well known as maybe the locals, the Galway. But like someone that was a traditionally a centre half, kind of went up top, scored a bag of goals in the first division. Kind of questions were asked whether this season would he score goals, and he's been the main man for Galway.
yeah,
He's just been the main man, and like he's arguably the hardest team in the league to play up top for because the way Galway play, and he's not just he's almost like the first defender for
yeah,
Galway, and
yeah,
he's been outstanding. And one of these players, kind of the opposite tack and that maybe if he became a free agent in the more, and there wouldn't be many clubs lined up for him, regard kind of like not even considering his goal scoring record, which is a madness. So yeah, I think that's why he kind of goes on here, like he's kind of goes under the
yeah.
radar.
100%, 100%. And do you have one more as well, or is that it?
Who's your striker pick? Oh,
My
same again.
yeah,
I'll
your
see if
favorite
you have
last
a
one
better
then.
one.
My striker was Walsh from Galway. Yeah, yeah, that was my pick. 7 goals so far this season, as you said, and yeah, I think in terms of under the radar strikers, I think yeah, I was looking at I had looked at the top goal scoring list and saw that he was kind of in the mix at the top of it, and probably the player I heard least about. In fairness to him, I think he's 33 now as well. So I think yeah, definitely deserves a mention here. In terms of getting into this team, I think yeah, I think it's a great shout from yourself, and yeah, that's the player I went with. Another player that was thinking of for kind of trying to fit in somewhere. Maybe it's actually could be instead of Chapman was John O'Sullivan, just obviously off the bat, but I didn't want to go overly shells. But it's kind of similar to what you were saying about Bowes and stuff with Akintunde in terms of Bowes fans completely wrote off John O'Sullivan, said he was a waste of space, said he was this, said he was that, and he's come into shells and he's been fantastic and he's put a real foot forward in terms of not out starting every week, but great attitude off the bench and bits and pieces. So he'd be another one that would be in contention. But I didn't want to put too many shells per thing. But I wanted to mention him. And it was off the back of the
Right.
Akintunde point, it was good as well. The Bowes right,
Exactly.
Bowes fans being too harsh.
That's a nice segue. Yeah, no, my striker pick now, I was just kind of new enough to the league as well. Douglas James Taylor. Now,
Yeah,
I don't know like if he's like underrated or even rated in that regard. I don't think many people know about him, but like in 5 matches, he's 4 goals.
yeah, it's
France
good.
Pro was kind of like a big kind of signing that went up to the draw from off the back of a great season at Athlone, and there was lots of noise and talk about him. He has 5 goals and in like 25 games. So like yeah, Douglas James Taylor kind of like a Freddie Draper type player. Like he had fancy to go and have a
Big
good
impact.
career. So yeah, no, definitely. I even saw him score against Rovers there with a fantastic header,
Great
and
finish. Yeah.
with the 2 goals against Bows he scored. Like he just seems like a very good player. A player doesn't necessarily get talked about him often because he's new
No.
enough to the league, but definitely falls under the radar. I think.
Yeah, definitely something I was looking at him and I was like, maybe he's a little bit too new to throw him in there, but I think he actually made the right call putting him in. I think it's a good shout. Yeah, he's looked fantastic so far, and it actually has gone under the radar in terms of maybe it is because he's so new still, but not I don't you don't hear many kind of people talking about him or anything. He's on loan, I think, from League One or something, isn't he? I think.
Yeah, he's on loan from
So
Walsall. Yeah,
Walsall, yeah, that's the one. Yeah, yeah, that's who Evan Weir went to, I think. Um, yeah, yeah, he looks a real quality player and probably not someone that will be sticking around the league for too long. You'd imagine he'll go back to Walsall or get a move in England or something. But yeah,
yeah,
he looks like a clinical finisher, and the finish against Bowes, sorry, finish against yourselves. I mean, sorry, was kind of what you need when you're in the bottom in a relegation battle. You need a striker
absolutely
that'll
not.
take his chances. And yeah, 4 goals in 5 games isn't a bad return so far.
100%. Yeah. So yeah, no, that's yeah, a few controversial picks in there, anyways. But sure, look, that's what an underrated 11
Sure, that's
entails.
it. Sure, that's it. I'll run through mine quickly. Mine was Kearns and goal, right back J.R. Wilson, left back Ledwidge, centre backs were Josh Honahan, Dara Leahy. A midfield three then was JJ Lunny, Alice Chapman, and Brandon Kavanagh kind of just in front of them in the 10. On the right, I had Liam Burt. On the left, Will Fitzgerald. And up front, Stephen Walsh. Do you want to run through yours as well?
Yeah, mine is Cherhazka in goals, right back Dara Power in the middle, Sean Hoare, Cameron Ledwidge, left back Josh Honahan. Then a midfield three of JJ Lunny, Ellis Chapman, and Jad Hakiki. and then a front three of Stephen Walsh, James Akintunde, and Douglas James Taylor.
Nice, nice. Well, guys, let us know down in the comments below whose team is better in terms of an underrated 11. Whose team do you prefer? Make sure to let us know what players, any honorable mentions that we kind of missed out on. And make sure to let us know down in the comments below. Please drop a like on the video if you did enjoy, and do subscribe if you're new. It is much, much appreciated. Thanks many for tuning in, guys. And Luke, a pleasure as always, man.
Cheers, Ross. Thanks.